introduce sort of not just a new subject, but sort of a new phase tonight, and we would call it personal work. When I went to groups early on, there was sort of a progression through Fourth Way groups, which is you attended for a while, and then after you attended for a while, really the next phase was that you would then be invited to do physical work. And there was a place upstate that the foundation owned, and that was considered to be like a great thing. You had to sort of progress to another level. And usually you just had to be around long enough and understand everything about what was going on in order to do that. And then after a period of time, the teacher would work on personal work. In other words, things that gave you particular direction depending on your type. And we worked on some type things during the retreat, various typologies, so that would indicate direction that was specifically good for your development, not necessarily good for the person next to you. And a lot of that is very conditioned stuff, things we learn, but that we can't see that we're conditioned. And the minute usually you open your mouth, everybody else can see what the conditioning is, but we don't necessarily see it. I know one thing that happened to me, I never got to do physical work through the foundation group because I left New York, but I did later with another small group. And it was a real revelation to me. I remember when I was young, my dad, who had to do like mechanical, physical work, which he didn't want to do because he was an immigrant and couldn't continue what he was doing previously. One day he came home and my mother had asked me to switch a light bulb for her. I don't remember how old I was, maybe 11 or 12. And I was up on the table and screwing the light bulb when he walked in the door, and he wasn't necessarily prone to sudden eruptions of anger. He could get angry at me, but it would be very ordered. You know, my report card was terrible, it was clear why he was angry, and you know, he was going to punish me for it in some way. But this was a very spontaneous eruption for him. And he just basically said to me that he never, ever wanted to see me do anything like that again. And that he never wanted to see me do any physical work. That was not what he wanted, that was not my future, and I was not to do it. I mean, and he was really serious. I mean, it was like, I mean, I could help carry my mother's laundry up the stairs, but nothing that required any physical know-how, like building something or, you know. And which was also kind of a funny thing, because I wound up going to like one of, they call the elite schools in New York, which was an engineering school, and it required some of that, and I was just terrible at it. He helped me with it. but so I sort of got that in my head that that was a bad thing to do. And later, actually, when I did do some of it, I was very bad at it, but it was really a revelation to me. Because there is that early conditioning that, you know, I can see this incident of it. The kind of culture I grew up in, the European culture, that's not so unusual. My father was just a little radical. But the kind of like American thing where people like build shelves and stuff like that, they don't really get very excited about that kind of thing. It's, because it's more of a history of a class society, see, where certain people did that and certain didn't, things like that. So, anyway, but those kind of things are in all of us, and I still don't build shelves very well to this day, but I can fix most of the digital devices that break down, most of them, and audio equipment and things like that, but that wasn't, that was different. So you're all like that. Now, in the foundation and later in other groups, the first thing you did with that was sort of a public typology, like we do with the Enneagram. Now, the Enneagram was not the only typology used. So you would use a typology from the Enneagram, also from the centers, from the eyes, and then I forget, there was another one, I forget who developed it, but was commonly used too in the Fourth Way, Sheldon's body types, that's what it is. Mesomorph, ectomorph. So between doing that as a group, after a while you would understand basically what direction you had to take to compensate for your particular condition. And then the last part of that would be, and will be, that you go over that with the teacher, me, and fine-tune that and make sure that it's correct. Now for most of you, this will be hard work, because it goes just against the tendencies that you believe are your strong points and your good points often. On the other hand, it is the thing you get the most out of, a lot of times, very quickly. And I try to do some of it with you as you speak, and the degree of seriousness with which you take what I say, I think, is the degree to which you can expect results